She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome on in, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 103. Today is May 13th, 2024. I am your host, D-Rock, and joining me from the beautiful state of South Carolina, as always, is the legend, Joey D. Joe, how you feeling, kid?
Yo, I learned something. I know it's a little off topic, but bear with me. Do you remember watching South Beach Toe?
Never heard of that show in my life.
Okay, so the star of the show was Bernice, right?
Uh-huh.
But I just found out that she's been coaching Miami-Jackson High School since like 2016. Miss Brunch and Coach B, bro. Listen to her staff. Elmas Dumerville is one of her coaches, bro.
Holy shit.
Nick Ferguson, I feel like I recall. Cecil Johnson. Kenny Johnson was a running back with the Giants. Like, listen to these dudes, yo. Like, these are all ex-NFL players, bro.
Just
So
killers.
I just had a shout out Coach B. Wait, am I seeing this right? It says Lee Corso.
No, the legend Lee Corso.
I'm seeing Coach. It's Lee. He's definitely like a contributor for Miami Jackson. So shout out Miami Jackson football. I know it's off topic, but I just learned
Definitely
of this.
a booster.
She was like I said, the star of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So Coach B, shout out.
Shout out her, man. What a legend row you were just naming too. We got a great episode for you guys. We'll recap UFC St. Louis, man. What a fucking card that was. The audience, everything was great. KSW Joe will recap. I mean, what a walkout that one guy had, and then he goes and gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Lomachenko, he gets the job done. Motherfucker couldn't wait another round and a half, but he gets the job done. And then we got Bellator Champion Series in Paris. We'll take a look at that. Just we figured we get ahead of our predictions out a little early. Only money line odds up right now, but as the days go on, props, rounds still start to come out, and Joey and I will put out what we like. But Joe, let's start with the big Black Beast and Derek Lewis. What a fight. I mean, we'll talk about the antics after, but the fight gets the knockout in the third round against Nascimento. He looked good. Like I said, he came in the lightest he's ever been. And I think defensively not getting taken down as easily, where a lot of people thought that's where Nascimento had the advantage. I was very impressed by Derek Lewis, kid. What'd you think?
Yeah, bro. He looks like his younger self. He got the record 15th career UFC knockout, so he leads the list now by 2 over recently retired Matt Brown. And yeah, brother, it was just a fun performance. We saw what we're gonna talk about next in the co-main event, how that went down, but it was like something that obviously all the hometown people won, but I feel like this as the main event, like definitely raised the bar and made the crowd get into it a little more. We all wanted to see, honestly, the trunks come off. We didn't want to see anything else. We got the patented, chest pound and hitting the dang mat. So, yeah, he looked great, honestly. I didn't expect it to go, 3 rounds. I didn't expect it to happen that late, but he didn't look all too bad as he got past the first. And, he's collecting some shots. Rodrigo Nascimento is no pushover at all. But it's just that power, bro. It's the breaker, the deal breaker for everyone who steps in there with Derek Lewis. And I mean, there's a lot you can do with the guy. You can put him as another main event. You could throw him on a pay-per-view, and people are gonna tune into that. Anytime the Black Beast is on a UFC card, people are tuning in.
Yeah, Derek Lewis is must-see TV. Even if he tried to wrestle for the first 10 minutes, I was very confused. But, I was like, okay, I trust him. He's been in a lot of main events before, and he showed that he can have stuff these takedowns, and he could grapple a little bit. And I love that. The dirty boxing, he was knocking up Nascimento in the dirty boxing.
Yes,
and
sir.
once he felt that power, he didn't want anything to do with Derek Lewis on the feet. So big win for Derek Lewis.
Normally don't see him, utilize the wrestling, as you said, but anytime someone uses wrestling against Derek Lewis, he just gets up.
Yo, yeah, and I love everything he said after the fight. He was fanning his opponent, took the cup off, threw it at one of the members. I think he got it
Bisping
signed.
was trying to pick it up. He was the only
Yeah.
one with enough balls to pick it up.
I think at the end, during his post conference, the guy who caught it, one of the media members, he goes, "Honestly, it doesn't stink." He goes, Derek Lewis, "I told you, it doesn't stink." I mean, he's a legend. I fucking love Derek Lewis. And sitting there at number 12, I think he has some big fights ahead of him in that heavyweight division, and I think we need a step back to reality. I don't know if he's ready for a top 15 fight in Nascimento just yet.
I mean, yeah, dude, I know a lot of people are calling maybe fight Ty again, get that loss back, but I don't want to do that to Ty. I kind of want to get him back on track. But I mean, honestly, I know that's like, it doesn't sound right, but like
they're listening, by the way, Joe. So like we need to
it doesn't make sense where my mind's at, but I was saying have him fight who opened up the main card, have him fight Rebello Spain and just get him out of the UFC after that lackluster performance.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
But no, you don't do that to Derek Lewis either. That's just for shit and gigs, what I was just saying. But it'd be funny to see because if Derek Lewis could utilize a little bit of wrestling and then keep it on the feet, I think Despain would get winded and I think he would get knocked out, though he still is always a threat no matter what. But I mean, if you're getting exposed by Acosta like that, then what's Derek Lewis going to do to you? So I was just doing that for fun. But for Derek Lewis, if he's not going to fight Ty, man, maybe he could fight in the top 10, someone above Tai Tuivasa. To be honest, I know people are saying Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I don't think they fought before. So that's an option as well, but I just don't see a lot of movement for either guy if they fight. So
they'll find a fight for Derek Lewis. They always do.
Fight for him, and you want to have Jairzinho and himself kind of in their resurgence, get fights where they can move up into the heavyweight and keep it interesting.
Rozenstruik was cage side as well, so it'd be very interesting if they paired him up. Good call out there, Joe. Let's go to the real main event. Joaquin Buckley against Ruziboyev, right or no?
Yeah, Nursultan Ruziboyev.
Thank you. He gets a unanimous decision win. I loved everything with Joaquin Buckley, his power, his takedown. I mean, he was the one taking down Ruziboyev. And I'll say this: the kid's a stud. I think he's gonna make waves in this welterweight division. Awful call out. I understand what he was doing, but you just don't do that. I think he's a stud. I think he will make waves in the division. I like the more realistic call out in Gilbert Burns, but you can't call out Conor McGregor. What
that was hilarious, man. I think it's just kind of going into his character. I really think Buckley's creating a character for himself, coming out to the press conference for Dana White begging for the hometown fight. And it was kind of like a quick turnaround for him as well as for both guys, on the card, AC card that you were at.
They were both on the AC card. Yeah.
So, that was not that too long ago, and they're here. He's in his own backyard fighting again. Yeah, he looked good. Like I said, I think he's more polished at 170. He's more in shape. He looks the best he's ever had, not only physically but like technically. I think he's grown as a fighter, and he knows who he is. That's the thing. I don't see an identity crisis. Yeah, that you don't call Conor McGregor out, but like I said, I think it goes into his character. And after a win like that in your own backyard, I mean, we said it last episode, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you land among the stars, as corny as that sounds. But the kid's a star at 170, and there's a lot of matchups you can put him up against in the weight class.
I mean, he has huge wins on his resume. Like, he has a win against Impa Kasanganah, who we think very highly of. Jordan Wright. He did get, we do see him lose. He lost to my man Chris Curtis. He got knocked out, but after that, he's rattled 4 wins in a row. Andre Fiolo, Alex Morano, Vincent Luque, and then Ruziboyev. So I think he's ready for a top 7, top 6 guy. He's sitting at 11 right now. Maybe a Sean Brady, maybe a Gilbert Burns, but I think he's ready, and I think he's he's a stud in this division. I think 170 is right for him.
The Gilbert Burns is a great jump for him. I think it's a good matchup that favors him, actually. I'm hearing inklings already that they do have a plan to get him in there with Jeff Neal. I've seen a couple of rumors around that. And Sean Brady would be tough. I feel like Sean Brady, after, we saw him lose against Bilal. but I think he's actually gotten better from that loss. You know, you learn a lot more from losses than you ever do wins. And so I think Sean Brady's a more evolved fighter. So he may present some problems for Buckley, you know, especially if he could take him down. I feel like Buckley would have a little bit of advantage on the feet, regardless of the growth.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it gets to the ground, I think that's Sean Brady's world. So I wonder if what the UFC is going to want to do. Are they going to want to keep Buckley favorable, or are they going to want to put him against, you know, Murderer's Row upcoming?
A lot of people thought Ruzaboyev was going to be the one to take down Buckley, but Buckley was the one taking him down. So I think like against a Sean Brady, you're right. On the feet, I think if he connects, the power is going to give Brady a lot of trouble. I think it's going to give a lot of people in the division trouble.
I think Ruzaboyev needs to stay at 185. I think
agree.
him cutting that weight and the short notice, you know, Buckley was there, made the weight, and he's like, I could do this again in this short period of months. So Buckley, I think he's 170 bound for the rest of his career. But Nursultan, he needs to go back to 185, gain that muscle back on, and stay at the weight where he can cut to 185 easily and stay there.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, in his backyard it was just not a good spot for Ruzaboyev. So, you know, the Uzbekistanian, he a little step backwards. He'll be back though. Let's go to light heavyweight decision. Carlos Ulberg knocks him out, the third fastest knockout in UFC history, 12 seconds against Zoe Menfield. Joe, I'll say this. I think real quick on Carlos Ulberg's side, he may be the dark horse of the division. I think he's going to play spoiler a lot in this division. But what is the game plan for Alonzo Menfield? I mean, you got to question Pat Barry as well. I mean, what are we talking about here? You just rush Carlos Ulberg? Like, that's not smart.
I mean, that goes into it that he had no game plan. You know, shout out my boy who was saying that, like, he just went in there and just didn't have a game. Yo, I didn't know Pat Barry was his corner. I really think Pat Barry can get out of coaching. I don't think he himself, but bro, Pat Barry, I get it, like hyper die, like HD, like, you know, when he was a fighter, like, it was fun because you never knew what you were gonna get. Like the knockout with Czech Congo was great, but now it seems it's carrying over into his coaching and his cornerman ability. He's not really good. Let's be real about it. Like, he's the last person you should be taking advice from. You know what I mean? It's to just like throw caution to the wind and just go in there guns a-blazing. It just doesn't work out. You need some guidance, you need some direction, and you need a game plan. So the fact that he just went in there without one is why he got starched like that, because we talked about it. You know, the technical side, Carlos Ulberg is one of the better strikers in the division, maybe in the entirety of the UFC, based off his resume and his pedigree in kickboxing. He's fast, he's sharp, and when you go in there with your chin held high and no, like, you know, idea that you may have to shoot a double and go for the wrestling takedown, as we saw with the co-main and the main event. I mean, it's just poor execution, poor planning. And I honestly think after that, I don't know if you know, Ryan Spann lost 15. I was going to maybe go as far as saying drop Menfield out of the top 15, but you know, that performance from Ryan Spann was pretty bad. I think Ryan Spann draws the short end of the stick. You keep Dom Reyes in the top 15, but I think you give Carlos Ulberg that spot. I think you give him number 11. You just put him right there.
Yeah, and then I think he drops down. I think he needs a layup, Alonzo Menfield. I just don't like his recent form. I agree. I think he needs. You saw it immediately. Like, he put his hands on his face and he was just disappointed. I mean, you have no one to be disappointed in but yourself. I mean, the game plan was just atrocious. I mean, you just don't do that against a guy like Carlos Ulberg, who has power for days. So shout out Carlos Ulberg, performance of the night bonus.
In comparison, talk about game plans. This next fight, that was a game plan and a half, how it wound
Diego Ferreira over Matus Rombecki. I've heard around Becky. I've heard a lot.
That Polish E is a little different. Rabisti, if you want to say.
But Joe, at the age of 40 or 39, turning 40, Diego Ferreira, after losing round one, gets the finish late.
Got dropped.
Insane durability and just an all-around amazing performance. I don't even care that I lost. I was just so happy for Diego Ferreira. He's still leveling people at his age.
Bro, look at this dude's resume. Like, honestly, like, Back in the day, like 10 years ago, loses to Beneil Dariush and Dustin Poirier. I mean, come on, who doesn't lose to those guys in that time?
The diamond.
And tries to get it back with Beneil Dariush. These are only his losses. Lost controversial split decision. Gregor Gillespie was undefeated at the time, or he had suffered that loss to Kevin Lee, and he came back and got him. And Mateusz Gamrot, we know how good he is. I think seeing that he lost to a Polish fighter, a Polish power before, was making me think Mateusz Rebek would have done it here. But, bro, you look at the wins he's got. He's beaten pretty much everyone they've put against besides those studs. So, yeah, Carlos Diego Ferreira, he's got a crazy resume, and he's as durable as they come. Like we said, after getting dropped in the first round and convincingly losing that first round, he went on to dominate the second and got to finish in the third. And, he's got 2 really good wins back-to-back at his age. He's a hard out for anybody they put him up against. I think the UFC is going to have a field day with matchmaking with him.
Let's go to the featherweight division. Sean Woodson gets the unanimous decision against Alex Caceres. Now, I'll be honest and truthful. Even though I had Sean Woodson unanimous, I had him via decision. Him getting round 3 is insane, Joe.
Yeah.
He lost round 3.
Yeah, and I like you said, you were like, watch your back, make a decision for yourself. I still think Bruce Leroy won that fight. It was a little bit of a robbery. Could have been a split, but yeah, I didn't see a decision that was unanimous for Sean Woodson. It was his own backyard. And I thought that, we'd keep biases aside and call it straight. But, shout out verdict. That's why they do it. Yeah, sometimes you could say the fans themselves are a little based. But I do see the point of it all. We could see the rounds break down and it's becoming less and less casual. That's the thing. Like, for you to go and download a mixed martial arts app dedicated to breaking down and scoring rounds, I think it's weeding out those who don't take it that serious. So I got to take the word that I'm hearing from it. When I see it and I watch back the fight, not only am I saying it to myself, is I got confirmation with that. People backing me up.
Robelis Despain. All I'll say here, Joe, is yikes. I mean, Waldo Acosta Nurmagomedov.
Shout out Elvis's cousin.
This is his new name, Waldo Acosta Nurmagomedov. I mean, he fought amazingly. He's fought smart. He did the right thing against Robert Desel's. All he wanted to do was trade and bang. And he said, okay, as soon as you start swinging, I'm going to take you down. And he's smart. I don't give a fuck what the fans were booing at. I know they want to just see a war, but he fought the right fight. And I'm so happy for him. And Robelis Despain might be a fraud.
He might be, or his ground game is entirely. And he was checked, bro. But I'll be honest, all the moans and groans from the crowd was probably not want to see a war. It was wanting to see Despain hit on their parlays, because about everyone had him on a list or a prop or something. So that was just burning every book known to man. And they made out, sports books did, on Cortez Acosta, because he was a huge dog in that one. And yeah, man, he must have spent like a month in Dagestan or something like that, or
right.
or American Wrestling War Room. You know what I mean? You remember in the dungeon we used to get down in the wrestling room. You know what I mean? It's not over till we got to run stairs at the end of it. So maybe he was locked in the dungeon and then running stairs afterwards. So shout out Garfield Wrestling.
And I know one person that put a ticket in for Waldo Acosta, and it was my boy Elvis.
Shout out to Dream Wager.
So he put a ticket in, but yeah, everyone, I think, all like you said, Joe, everyone's parlays were busted. I mean, I lost money on this fucking guy. And you know what? What did I say during our breakdown? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take him here, but I can't wait to fade him. We were a fight too early, but or late. Exactly. Excuse me. So yikes. I'll say that. So he might be fraud. He might be a fraud. Chase Hooper, man, this kid got hands. Great win for Chase Hooper, biggest win of his career. And if he really keeps evolving with his striking, he's gonna be a problem, Joe. Now my question to you is he ready for a ranked opponent?
I honestly think so, man. He looks so good. I think you got to start pushing him. You know what I mean? Slava Klaus is no slouch. You know what I mean? There's a plenty of fights that you could probably book with him before going to the top 15, but I mean, he's looked better than he ever has. And like honestly, if you look at the top 15, I think he has an advantage when it goes to the mat and in a lot of matchups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guys that are in the top 15, they've been there. They're, obviously lightweight's so deep. So maybe you do want to just like kind of roll him into that, maybe fight a top 20 guy, something like that, just kind of give him a warm up before hitting the rankings. But I like what I'm seeing out of Chase Hooper. I like the guy a lot. I had a lot of fighters that I enjoyed to watch on the St. Louis card, and he was one of them. And he's becoming a complete fighter, man. He's evolved so much. And yeah, bro, I saw this meme. They were like saying, like, oh, if you had all the perfect weapons, what would you have as a UFC fighter? You'd have Chase Hooper.
Man,
Shout out Chase.
I mean, he's so young. He's only 24, kid. He wants to stay active. He said he has a child coming on the way, so he wants to stay active. And the kid looks good. He dropped the boxer, which we all thought, or especially me, I thought Slavakos would actually have the advantage on the feet. And here fucking comes Chase Hooper, just drops him in the first round. But I will give Slavakos a lot of credit. Surviving a round and a half on the ground with a guy like Chase Hooper is extremely tough. So,
and we're burying the lead a little bit, because you were just about to say about Keith Peterson and the stoppage, because I think it's just like from what he was saying, he wasn't seeing much defense there. And then you have that tap there. I mean, nonsense. Keith Peterson.
Do you think he tapped? Because I will say, it was one, and then his arm went kind of limp, and I think he didn't really have much time after that. I don't think he tapped, but I don't mind this stoppage because I do think it was on the way to being over. But I don't mind Keith Peterson not stopping it prior to, because I think Slavakos was working and trying to get out.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're really going anywhere. Chase, he's the type of guy with his skill and knowledge of how jiu-jitsu works, man. I really don't think he was burning his arms out at all. I think he had that cinched up pretty tight. He even, he did that like Iowa, whip, like whipped him around.
Mm-hmm.
He would have wound up on top. He could have sunk in and then grabbed the leg, and it would have made the darts just that much tighter. So I really didn't see Chase Hooper letting that go, and he could have been there all night, to be honest with you. No one chasing his grappling. I don't think Slavakos would have had the necessary defenses to get out of that position. And, as a referee, your job is to protect the fighters. And like you said, if he saw that arm go limp, regardless if he saw a tap or not, I think that's what he was kind of looking for. So you can argue the tap, but yeah, I did see a little limpness going on, and I don't think he was going to get out of that.
Yeah, no, it was on the way to being finished. What a fucking kick from Esteban. A kick from the hell. Put fucking T-Rex in the shadow realm. Literally sat him down 37 seconds into the first round. Surprised he didn't get knockout of the night or performance bonus. That's kind of a shame, but what a fucking kick. And this kid, the Argentine, he's for real, kid.
Yeah, man, he looks good. Like I said, he burned me. I minced my words on the last episode. I was fading him, but I said on Verdict I was, and that's not the case. I had him winning in the first round. That's why I took, because, we like our boy T-Rex, and he shouted him out. He said, good to Ribovics. He was the better man. But I'll be back, and I believe that too, because Terrence McKitty, man, he's, I'm saying, like, live by the sword, die by the sword, like, live fast, die hard, like, kill or be killed. Like that's if you look at his UFC career, man, he's icing people, or he's going until he can't go no more. So that's what you get with a T-Rex McKinney fight. And Esteban, he looked good. We didn't see much of him on display, but that type of explosive knockout, man, that could have been arguably a knockout of the year contender, but he didn't get even a performance bonus for it. So something that should be mentioned. Maybe he got a little money under the table, hopefully. But slick, sharp, and happened very quickly. And the fight to end the first round at -125 hit for me. So I played it safe because that's what we're expecting. Someone to go down in the first round.
I feel bad for T-Rex. I feel like they should give him a layup in this next fight, because they give him a good fight and then they feed him to the wolves against him. Like, he's always up and down. It's hard to get a really good read on T-Rex. Yeah.
Someone made a post and I retweeted it. That's exactly the word to define his career. It's volatile.
Yeah, 100%. Because he has all the potential in the world, I feel like, but he just makes certain errors sometimes. So it's unfortunate, but I do think he'll be back. The rest of the card, Tabitha Ricci, that's another very close one.
I told you that was going to be a close fight.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? I took Tabitha Ricci on the money line -134, but I said, you know what? Sprinkle a little her via decision at +120.
Smart.
And that was she got the split decision over Tisha Pennington. I did think she did enough to edge out the win over Tisha Pennington. Fight of the night, Billy Ray Golf and Trey Waters. Holy shit, what a fucking fight.
I like
that was.
the Billy Ray getting involved, because before it was just Billy Golf, but now it's Billy Ray Golf. And
I love his name.
you know, I honestly, I think that was a controversial decision
Yeah,
as
it
well.
was.
He very well won that fight. So
A lot of
I got
people
away
thought
with one on that one. I did have Trey Waters on the money line, but you know, let's call what it is. Billy Golf should have won that.
Yeah. A lot of people thought Billy Golf should have won. I did too. Even though I was rooting for you, I had no party in this, but I was rooting for Trey Wars because of the show for you. But I did think Billy Golf won. But
One for
it is
sure.
what
They deserve the performance. The fight
yeah.
of the night bonus.
I'm glad they got their 50K as well. Good win for Charles Johnson at home.
And I got
Solid.
that. Verdict took my pick away, but I had Charles Johnson winning by decision. And that one, I told you, he's a tough out. And with that fight going to distance and the Baby Shark Tiny Tornado, that hit the parlay, the 2-leg
Nice
gateway to decision parlay at +106. So some plus money for you.
Yeah, he closed as a dog too at +110.
Yep.
Charles Johnson. So yeah, big win for him. I'm happy
And
for Charles Johnson.
Shout out. No, I was where you're gonna go next. Shout out your girl.
Oh yeah, Veronica Hardy. She continues to get better and better. Now 3-0 in the UFC. I thought she did enough. Unanimous decision against JJ Aldridge. She was faster. She had better footwork. She had the power advantage as well. She was better in the clinch. Honestly, I didn't think the fight was close at all. I know a lot of people thought JJ Aldridge, was kind of live. I didn't think that at all. I think she closed around a -300 favorite according to the live odds. And, they're always not right, but
no,
I thought Veronica Hardy looks good. And, she's going to continue to get better and better. And with the immortal in her, in her back.
The outlaw, baby.
The outlaw, excuse me. Dan Hardy, I think in his corner, the sky's the limit for Veronica Hardy, kid.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to see who she could probably go up against next, Let's see here.
She said she wants to stay active, so you figure another fight for her this year. So I don't know. What do you like?
She's stringing together a lot of wins. You know what I mean? Like, that Bea Malicki win. I don't know how much merit you could put into that. She had the layoff, and since coming back, I mean, she's looked good.
I think that layoff was the best thing that happened.
Best thing that happened. She's not. I don't think going to the top 15 just yet, but give her a fight or two. And I mean, dude, we could see her match up with like your girl, King Casey O'Neill, something like that. You know what I mean?
I think she's a fight or two away from it. But yeah, I agree. I think she needs another fight or two, and then she's ready for a top 15 fight if she continues to improve and keep winning.
I think honestly, I like that matchup in that flyweight division for her more than the other ones. Even though Miranda Ravic's there at 15, I think Miranda Ravic's actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Karine Silva looked good as well last time out. And then that jump to like 11, top 10, I think that's a little much. So that's why I'm saying who I'm seeing here. Ariane De Silva was Ariane Lipski, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's another. Actually, I would say 13 or 14, maybe one more fight, possibly to get to the top 25, top 20, and she'll be there.
But yeah, she continues to improve, and love backing her. But overall, I thought it was a really good card. I thought, they need, this is what Dana White said, they need to get out of the Apex and they need to get a live crowd, because from the first fight of the prelim, the Veronica Hardy fight, to the main event, they were fucking on their feet, loud, making noise. It was a huge gate too. They made a lot of money as well. Overall, it was a really good card. I loved it. I love the audience. 7-4 on the night for me. How did you do, kid?
I just stayed afloat. I went 6-6, killed it in the prelims, and then lost the momentum in the main card. But hey, like I said, the parlay did hit to put me over 500. So 7-6 overall for UFC St. Louis.
Boy, as long as we stay above 500, we got an Apex. We talk about where we got trying to get away from it. We're going right back to the Apex this week.
Well, they announced that. Didn't Dana White say that?
Yeah.
They're done?
Yeah, he did. Well, he said he wants to get out of it, but they've already locked in some dates all the way up until August. So we'll see. But their plan is to get in front of live crowds, but he's been saying this for fucking months. So we'll see. How was KSW, kid? I saw
Oh,
that walkout.
Yeah, it was that was the talk of the town. Went viral on him. But I had Kamarczyk in the featured bout. But I didn't expect Ruchala to hit him with a liver kick to shut him down, and that was early in the first. So I was wrong there. That busted the parlay, and took some dog play. Didn't work out for me. It was all chalk. Hightower, like you said, beat the guy who had Arthur Spilka. He had that crazy walkout. That was the biggest highlight for his night because Hightower put him out in 14 seconds. So,
Jeez.
I mean, the dude's 6'7", 6'8", and he's fought with the best glory kickboxers in the world. So, like I said, you go boxer to a power lifter, I'm taking the boxer. But you go kickboxer and the steam going against a straight up boxer, I think I'm going kickboxer 9 times out of 10. And then in the main event, Bartosz. Just what else can I say about him? He got a knee bar submission in the third round. This dude can do it all. Saladin Parnasse, who he beat. Remember I was going with him because I wanted him to get the triple, belt.
Yeah.
He'd be like one of the few guys because we have Anatoly Malikin and he has 3 belts. And I was saying Saladin Parnasse is so good, like he might get the 3rd belt, but not when you run against this guy who's just like we used to shout out all the time, Jim Miller, like a warthog. This dude's literally like a warthog in there, like just keeps his head down and he can throw. He's a finisher, man. He could just go in there, throw kicks, throw punches, and out wrestle the lot of them. And this dude hasn't lost his entire career. He stays undefeated in the pro level and hasn't lost a fight entirely since 2017. So yeah, Adrian Bartoszynski is one of the best Polish fighters in the world. And I mean, he keeps dominating KSW like we've seen with, Mikhail Ociejczak, our boy Mateusz Gamrot. Like these KSW fighters can easily transition, and tear it up in the UFC. So I see him to be one of them.
Lomachenko, he gets the knockout win in the 11th round. We were so close to getting the decision victory. I didn't think George Kambosos Jr. looked good at all, if I'm being honest. I mean, he looked slow. He looked like every time Lomachenko tagged him, it looked like he affected him.
I felt that.
Now, everyone seems to be calling Lomachenko out. I honestly, I don't know how George Kambosos beat Timofey Lopez last time out. I mean, it's a bad loss for him. But other than that, what do you see next for the champ, Lomachenko?
Man,
honestly, a lot of different ways he could go.
A lot of different ways he can go. I'm seeing him maybe wanting to go for the belt. I mean, we said it prior. We said it on Friday. We say he could go and fight Devin Haney.
How about Shakur?
Nah. I don't see Shakur taking that fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Honest with you.
I love Shakur, but
I just don't see taking a chance with the guy. Even though he's older in his age, he looks better than he ever has. He's always been the Matrix to me. Lomachenko's sick, man. Honestly, he's a fan favorite fighter. He's like your favorite boxer's favorite boxer, to be honest with you. What he's done in the Olympics and what he's doing to guys like Kambosos is no slouch, but he made him look like he didn't belong. Like he outclassed him every step of the way. And to get a finish like that, I mean, that's just impressive stuff. So I honestly see the Devin Haney fight something that they would kind of go for because there's a belt now on each.
You can't keep ducking my guy Garcia. You can't keep doing it, Joe. I mean, I love it.
Still against Ryan Garcia?
I was just gonna say,
how much bigger is he?
Or we do Ryan Garcia versus George Kambosos Jr. because he's talking shit saying George Kambosos sucks on Twitter. George responded saying, quote, "I won more belts than you'll ever win, Princess, the clean way. Cheating dog. I'd rather go out on my shield against the best and lose like a man than cheat with weight advantages and enhancements like you did. Let's have a street fight and fuck the ring."
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. Now, someone said, imagine if Gervonta fought George Kambosos for undisputed, and then Devin Haney comes in and says, imagine if he fought Lomo at 24. So everyone's trying to take shots here. I agree. I think it is either going to be Devin or maybe even Ryan Garcia.
I know. I just feel like Ryan's like big, man. Like he is a really big guy.
He's huge. Yeah.
Dude, for that weight class, I don't know. I got to see something like that. I'm trying to see WBO's like rankings.
Do you agree, real quick? Shakur Stevenson reacted to Lomachenko, basically saying he carried Kambosos Jr. over this kind of like the Terrence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao that's kind of never happened. Do you agree with Shakur saying he carried him through the fight?
No, that Vasily carried George Kambosos.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's hard to finish anybody with the gloves that they're wearing. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's tough to say. I think that would be like there's a fix in, and I don't think he's too old school. You know what I mean? He's got that Slavic style with the mix of being able to cut angles and bob and weave like slick. So yeah, he's not gonna go and try to fix any fights. You know what I mean? But if he wants to go for WBO. It's a Venkat championship right now. That's what I mean. You can also have him match up with another Ukrainian fighter who's undefeated. If you want to maybe build up the two.
I'm glad you brought that up because the 135 world titles, the WBA is Javante Davis, the WBC is Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, and then
Lomachenko
IBF.
just won IBF, but the WBO, we have a fight this week, May 18th. It's Emmanuel Navarrete against Dennis Birchecki. So they're fighting this weekend for the WBO.
That's junior lightweight, is it not?
I don't believe so. No, it's for the WBO lightweight champion.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they're fighting this weekend. So I'm saying Lomachenko has to fight one of these guys to make it.
Is Navarrete vacating his super
yes,
his junior lightweight, his super featherweight?
Yes.
And so then he's moving up in the weight class. So he'll be the next champ. And then that's a fight. Whoever comes out victorious of that to get the lightweight WBO, you could throw Vasily to get him to. I think that it's like he's earned enough respect in the world of boxing to go ahead and get that second belt or at least fight for it. And then if he's got two belts, maybe he gets a third. And then maybe you can now like unify the weight class like we're seeing with Bivol and Beterbiev, like we're seeing with Usyk and Fury. So that's what we need. We want to see the best fight the best. And if we want to keep boxing strong, this is what you got to do.
100%. But yeah, congratulations to Lomachenko. Dominant performance. He's now a 4-time world champion across 3 weight divisions. So very impressive there. Joe, before we get to Bellator, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with Joe or an elderberry watching Bellator, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with our Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, let's get to it. Bellator Series Championship. You can see it 3 p.m. here on the East Coast. You can watch it on HBO Max. Headline by the men's bantamweight championship champion Patchy Mix taking on Magomedov. What a name. And we got our boy in the co-main event, Cedric Doumbé. Joe, I will let you lead it off, kid. What do you got? Like I said earlier, we only have money lines right now, and Patchy.
We just want to get talking about it because by the time we record on Friday, it'll be a little later in the day, so there will probably be to that point when we get on. So. Aspen Ladd's on this card. She's make the trek all the way out to Paris to fight in this card.
She's all the way on the prelims, though.
No, but I'm just saying, like, this is a recognizable name. You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone else recognizes the other names in here, but one that you should keep an eye out for, and he hasn't fought in the UFC, but man, he's fighting an ex-UFC guy, Theobald Guti. Archie Colgan, bro, if you've seen that dude fight, he is as legit as they come. And so I would keep an eye out for this lightweight, 9-0. I don't think he's ever lost a fight in his amateur career as well. Archie Colgan looks to be a complete guy, so keep an eye out for him.
I think that's the start of the main card, right?
Yeah, I think I think he opens up the main card. So beautiful fight to do so, and he gets to display his expertise on the feet and on the ground because he's a great wrestler. So, and he's got hands. But the plays that I have are going to be for the co-main and the main event. Obviously, we got to touch Cedric Doumbé. Jalil Willis, definitely more fights, mixed martial arts. And if we saw anything, what Doumbé's weakness is trying to get into the mat, try to hold him down, deny him of his kickboxing prowess. But I think that's going to be hard to do. I think Doumbé, from that loss, we said it before, you learned a lot more in losses than you ever do in wins. And I think probably all camp, ever since he recovered from the toe injury, he's probably been working his takedown defense and possible get-ups, because once he has an answer to that, he's going to be almost close to an unstoppable force, because I don't think anyone really has got him when it comes to the kickboxing material. So, yeah, Cedric Doumbé, got to take him, and I would even go as far as redeeming himself by getting a knockout. Yeah,
I was just going to say, you can't really touch him right now. He's a minus 550 over on BetMGM, plus 400 for Jalen Willis. I agree. I think, after the controversy loss, which, to be honest, it still rubs me the wrong way. I feel like you should have never even brought attention to it. You should have just fucking sucked it up and continued to fight. How many times do people get splinters when they enter the cage? Like, I feel like most people would just continue, but that kind of bothered me.
A little bit of diva action.
Yeah, a little bit. And I hate to be that guy, Joe, but I agree. A little bit of diva, but I do think he bounces back strong here. I think they gave I don't want to disrespect his opponent, but I do think they gave him a good matchup to get back in the win column. I do think they'll run that fight with Becky back eventually down the road, but I do think this is a good fight for him. I would take him via inside the distance or via knockout, depending what that prop opens up at. But I agree. I think Cedric Doumbé in Paris, I think the crowd's going to go ballistic for him.
The crowd,
So
all the soccer stars are going to be there, and they're going to be having chants. We learned from the backlash in Paris how crazy the crowd can get. Any event that we've seen for the UFC in Paris. And, the stars come out to see Cedric Doumbé, and I think he's going to provide, and that's a great match. I wonder if they're going to, invent, a Bellator European Championship. Granted, the Bellator is already an international scene, the Bellator Championship Series, but I just wonder if they can maybe, I don't think you need a belt on him, but I'm just thinking that maybe they'll cater a European type something. I don't know why I'm coming that to mind, but just if he does run it back with Baki, maybe it's for gold's on the line, something like that.
And to your point, I think France or Paris in general is the leader right now in combat sports.
The Mecca?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Your Excellency has something to say. He's getting all the good fights. Yeah. He's trying to make that. Yeah. He's trying to make that. So let's go to the main event. It's an exciting one, honestly, because they ran this back once before. Mm-hmm. I think Patchy Mix got him out of there.
Yeah, he did.
And we didn't get a 135 for the PFL, but imagine if you saw one of these guys fighting for a season, and you get to see them 3-4 times a year. That'd be awesome. But I think this kind of style fits them perfectly. They can have their fight camps. They can fight once or twice a year, and they're good. You know what I mean? So last time they fought, guillotine choke, man. He's got a sick guillotine choke. Patchy Mix grappling is just amazing, bro. And a lot of people argue that he shouldn't have lost the Juan Archuleta fight, that he should still be an undefeated fighter. So maybe, they're not giving him any love. They're not giving no love to Patchy Mix, hence his nickname, that he deserves, because he definitely deserves a lot more notoriety, because he's one of the best bantamweights on the planet. And I think he'd give anyone a run for their money, UFC included. Sean O'Malley, I mean, you name it. I think he's a tough matchup. And, it's hard to beat a guy twice. But I do think that he might have his number. You know what I mean? Because if Magomed tries to shoot in, boom, we could cinch in another, or find a way to take this back and backpack him and choke him unconscious, or choke him to a tap out. So, though I have a little different take, like I said, it's hard to beat the same guy twice. I think Patchy Mix will get it done, but I think Magomed may have a little timidness in terms of just shooting brawly for a takedown. And, trying to exchange that way. So I'm taking Patchy Mix via decision. Once you said, I bet you he's probably a favorite if you're seeing that. I don't know what you're seeing. Are you seeing that Patchy Mix is a favorite here?
Oh, yeah. So the lines right now, Patchy Mix minus 210, Magomedov plus 175.
$1 favorite. It's going to be hard to play all that chalk. Same thing. I mean, obviously anything that's crazy like Cedric, you'd want to avoid and definitely find a prop specific. But even for this one, I would go with the Patchy Mix via decision, because Magomed may have worked the kinks out and may be tougher than his first time around and may not give up the choke as easily, but I think Patchy Mix is just that good, and I think he can present danger on the feet, and he'll have answers when it gets to the mat. So I think you'll get to the judges' scorecards. I think a unanimous victory. Maybe you want to play that, squeeze a little more juice out of it, but Patchy Mix via decision.
Yeah, I like Patchy Mix as well. I was trying to parlay on both Patchy Mix and Cedric Doumbé.
Just straight up.
But it's still a minus 130 on both of them straight up, which I don't like laying juice on a parlay. If I was able to get plus money, I think that would be a nice little two-legger. But
even plus.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Patchy Mix is. I was gonna ask you because I think Patchy Mix is a top 3 bantamweight in the world. I think he could go in right now into the UFC and fight for the title. I know that's a crazy talk, but he's proven it on the ground, on the feet, no matter where the fight goes. His fight IQ is off the charts as well. I think he's one of the smartest fighters as well. I think he's going to have fits for Magomed, and I don't want to see this matchup anymore. I feel like we see this over and over again, and I think that was the problem with Bellator. We got the same fucking matchups every time, and it was kind of it goes stale, the matchup sometimes. So I like Patchy Mix here. I do think Magomed will be tough enough to go all 5 rounds. So via decision, probably be plus money, maybe plus 120, plus 125. I do like that. Maybe fight to go to the distance, depending on what the number is. But I like Patchy Mix here big. Maybe I'll find another parlay and I'll say it on the show for Friday. But those are the 2 ones I like as well. Any other fights you were looking on this card that caught your eye?
Yeah, just the ones I shouted out. You know what I mean? I think we got a bunch of good fights going on in the card entirely. Gregory Baben, he's in the featured bout. I recognize these names. You know what I mean? Where's it called? Mansour Barnawi. Yeah, I remember seeing him a couple times. Mike Shipman, for some reason, is ringing a bell. English dude. What do I remember seeing? Seabass. That's such a great nickname. That is such a great nickname, dude. Yeah, he beat Charlie Ward at Bellator 291. I don't know why I'm seeing Mike Shipman somewhere else other than just fighting for Bellator. But hey, that nickname is a mean ass nickname. I like Seabass. That is cool as hell.
Yeah, definitely gonna be watching this on Friday night because I don't know, besides the co-main and main event and Aspen Ladd, I don't really know too much about any of these fighters. So definitely gonna tune in and educate.
I'm definitely telling you, watch the opener of the main card, Theobald Guti versus Archie Colgan.
Should be a good one.
Theobald Guti, though he didn't do good in the UFC, 1-5 record there. He was in, the biggest promotion in all of mixed martial arts. So if Archie Colgan can get past him and rather convincingly, I mean, should put another rocket to this kid, Archie Colgan.
Joe, real quick, before we get up out of here, some news. We know that we got the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Guess who will be carrying out the Olympic torch to start the games?
It's in Paris?
Yes.
Zinedine Zidane? Nah. It's definitely not no fighter.
Ciryl Gane.
What?
Yeah, he will be carrying out the torch ahead of the 2024.
I was expecting headbutts, not head movement, but
exactly.
no,
I'm happy for him though.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment, man. And hopefully we get some fight news for Ciryl Gane soon. I wonder who they're gonna put him up against.
I think it's either gonna be him or Curtis Blades for Tommy Aspinall at Manchester. It has to be. So we'll see. But I did thought that just broke about 3 hours ago before we went to record. So I thought that was very interesting. I'm happy for Ciryl Gane. Don't love him as a fighter, but it is cool to bring out your torch in front of your home country. I mean, that's a really cool story. But yeah, Joe, anything else before we get up out of here, kid?
No, nothing, man. No, I'm drawing a blank right now. It's late.
Yeah. All good, kid. I appreciate you staying up. That was on me. I went to the game today for Mother's Day, but I'm glad.
Walk off.
Yeah, walk off. Let's go Mets, baby. But we need a big one from the Knicks this weekend. But other than that, I hope everyone had a good Mother's Day. Hope you guys spent some time with your mothers. Hug them, love them.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. And that's going to do it for this Monday edition of Axe Cake Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, I am D-Rock. Make sure you guys go follow along our social media, X and Instagram. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review, leave in the comments who you'll be betting on this weekend. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Good luck on your wagers this weekend. And we will see you guys on Friday. Peace.